We're here at Doral Academy Prep, which is a charter school just outside of Miami. For people who aren't familiar, can you tell me a little bit about charter schools, how it overall fits into the vision President Trump has and you have as Education Secretary for school choice for America?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show tonight. This is really, really fun to be here. Charter schools are public schools, but they're kind of public-private. It does really present an opportunity for parents and for children to have choice. And Florida has been really one of the leading states in promoting school choice.
Is this the goal for the average American family to be able to have the option to send their child to a school like this?
Children should not be trapped in failing schools. And we've seen now many states, who do have universal choice as part of their educational programming. They're really great for parents and for students. And so this is kind of best practices. And one of the things I would like to be able to do as we turn education back more towards our states is to be able to show best practices, to those states and provide tools to those states who perhaps aren't as innovative as Florida. But that's going to be a real goal.
Well, that's great. Great to hear, music to the ears of a lot of parents out there. You and President Trump both say that your goal would be to put you out of this job. Tell me more about that.
What he really means by that is that he wants to take the bureaucracy out of education. I think a lot of people don't really understand what the Department of Education does and does not do. The Department of Education does not educate one child. It does not establish curriculum on the local level. It does not hire or fire teachers or administrators or do any of that. It provides funding to help with some of the programs, but only about 10%, sometimes as low as 8%. The rest is from the state. So what we really want to do is to make sure that states have the ability, with fewer strings, regulations, red tape, for governors and parents and teachers and school administrators to be more creative. And so the president wants to see that happen, and he believes that we'll see our scores go up because he believes, as do I, that the best education is closest to the child. Let's let our teachers teach. They know what's best in their classroom, and let's provide, I think, more funding to help them have more paraprofessionals in their room. We'll see the results if we can do that.
Our children are performing more poorly than when the department was founded, and we are falling behind most developed nations in terms of education. We want to see change, though, and that's what I think parents are demanding right now. They now are looking to you in this position and saying, okay, what's the plan and how are you going to do it?
When you look at where our scores have been on the recent NAEP test, which is the nation's report card, we see, that only about 30% of 8th graders are reading proficiently. That means 70% are not. And we see declining math and English scores, reading scores. Kids have to, I always like to say this, that by the time you finish 3rd grade, you have learned to read, then you're reading to learn. And if you can't read by the time you leave 3rd grade, then your whole learning just continues to go downhill. So we have to make sure that we're teaching kids, and we've seen states that have seen their scores come up, like Louisiana recently, and Mississippi, what's called the Mississippi Miracle. They were really putting the science of reading back into their schools. These states have been innovative on their own. It's not anything the Department of Education is doing. So I don't believe states will miss a step. I think they will flourish and grow.
In 2009, you actually kind of got involved in politics. You ran and won as a Connecticut school board member. Tell me about that experience.
I've always loved education. As a matter of fact, I majored in French in college. I was going to be a French teacher, and I got my certificate to teach, but my career path took a little different direction after I graduated. But I was reading the Greenwich Time one Sunday morning, and it said that now Greenwich, one of the most affluent communities in the country, was not making all of the steps, the public schools in Greenwich, for No Child Left Behind, which was during the Bush administration. I thought, how could that be? So the governor was a friend, and I called her, and I said, what's going on in our state? And she said, look, let me introduce you to some people. So she did. I started talking to those who had opened charter schools and learning more about it. And then the governor called me and she said, look, she said, here's an opportunity for you. Would you take it? And I said, I'm not an educator. I don't come from that kind of a background. And she said, exactly. I want someone who's going to question and raise issues, and let's really talk about it.
The average parent out there who sends their child to school every day, they're part of the public school system, but they say, you know what, we don't really know what they're learning. Are they being educated in the right way? What do you want to say to parents out there to reassure them that you and President Trump do have a great plan in mind for their child?
I think parents have to be involved. I encourage them, run for your local school board, but at least go to the meetings. Ask what curriculum is being taught in the schools. And that's one thing that we found, that schools were really holding curriculum very tightly. They weren't allowing parents to be involved to even know what their children were being taught. I think that was a little bit of a silver lining from COVID, that parents for the first time really started to see some of the curriculum that was being taught, and they didn't approve of that curriculum at all. And now parents are becoming more and more involved.
Randy Weingarten says that DEI equals opportunity, and it's necessary so that kids can succeed. Do you agree with that?
I don't. One of the things that President Trump has been so decisive about is making sure that DEI is stripped out of contracts. We need to have a merit system in our country. I think those that are qualified to do things should do them. I don't think one size fits all. I don't think all kids or adults should be graded at the same level. We need to have merit, because that is how we progress. Everybody should have the same opportunity. And let's provide the tools, especially in education. Let's provide the tools in education to all, but not on on a formula. Let's make sure that merit is the real driver of where we need to be.
Great teachers are a national treasure, but the not so great teachers are protected by the teachers' unions and allowed to stay in these positions. How detrimental is that to our kids?
I think it's very detrimental. And when I was on the State Board of Education in Connecticut, one of the questions I asked one day, why do we have to have tenure? Well, you could have heard a pin drop in the room. I said, in the private sector, if you're not doing a good job, you get fired. If you're doing a great job, you get rewarded for that, and you have merit increases. And I think we should reward really good teachers, because they're having an incredible impact, on our students. They can lift them up, they can inspire them, they can encourage them, they can help really move them along. And a bad teacher who's just kind of, mailing it in every day in her classroom or his classroom, is just not doing the service to our students that they deserve.
When President Trump leaves office on his last day, where would you like to see education in America?
I'd like to see education have been returned to the states so that they are being those creative and innovative laboratories that it was always intended to be. However, I would also like to make sure that as the department has really unwound, that we have provided states with best practices. We have provided them with tools to go forward for those who needed it. And one thing I want to make crystal clear is so much criticism comes that as we're unwinding the Department of Education, that we'll be defunding programs. Clearly that's not the case. Congress appropriates the money for Title I, for IDEA, for our handicapped and disabled and special needs kids. That funding's not going to go away. It may come through a different department, maybe where it did before the Department of Education was stood up. And I think it'll operate much more efficiently. So that would be the goal.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.